Hello fellow foodies, foragers, and fungiphiles. Today's video is all about porcini. Porcini is the Italian name for Boletus edulis. We have 4 main boletes in the western US that are considered choice edibles. There are also a few varieties only in Central California that grow under oaks. Many of these have had recent name changes. There are also large boletes under pines east of the Continental Divide that are said to be tasty. Around the world, edulis is a favorite of foragers and chefs, with many curious and fun names. In England, penny buns, fresh bread. In Germany, steinpilz, the stone mushroom. In France, ceps, hats. In Italy, porcini, little pigs. There's something sensuous and feminine about porcini. Taut, smooth globes, and soft skin that slowly lose firmness. An array of hypnotic scents and flavors that stimulate the senses and appetite. There is a fascination with magnificent and huge specimens, but the tastiest and best preserved are fresh, compact, and solid mushrooms. Many foragers have had their heart broken when finding a massive porcini patch, only to find that thousands of fungus gnats have gotten there first. They lay eggs in the nearby soil, then the little worms make a nursery in the flesh of the fungi. Most foragers eventually create a personal allowance of harvesting mushrooms with some worms inside. These babies will escape during the drying process. In fact, most all of the little dried packets of porcini at your preferred grocery store have mushrooms that have had vermin in the flesh. Look closely, and if you see a network of tiny holes, there was fungus larvae inside. In the US, premium, bug-free specimens are sold fresh to high-end restaurants. The majority of the crop is dried and sold worldwide. Many of the mushrooms harvested in Asia and sold at the membership grocery stores are not what any fungophile would consider porcini. They are other, lesser prized Boletus species. Porcini dry well, are used in many dishes, and fresh grilled specimens are one of the most sublime of wild food experiences. They are a great mushroom for beginning foragers, and most of the related species are also edible. There is a long history of food use in Western European countries. There are very few poisonous boletes, yet, like all wild foods, proper identification is absolutely necessary before eating. Porcini have resisted human cultivation and are found in relatively undamaged forests under older trees. This adds to their mystery and magic, and forays for them always include an experience in nature. Boletus mushrooms do not have gills. They have a network of pores on the bottom. These are tiny tubes that form a sponge-like mass. The spores form and pass through the tubes into the atmosphere and the ground. There are other edible genus/species all over the US that have spongy bottoms, mostly Suillus and Lexinum. The taxonomic names of all these species have enlarged greatly the past 25 years with DNA mapping. Many of these mushrooms are edible, but few compared to the 4 boletes we are looking at today. Boletus edulis, Boletus grand edulis, Boletus rubriceps, and Boletus barrozi. There is also a spring king bolete, Rex ferus, that comes around the month of May. I have found a few in Montana, but I don't have any video yet. The best mushrooms to harvest are specimens that have none or very little of the sponginess formed. Pores of advanced development are not toxic, but eating them may have a laxative or purgative effect. Most boletes are a warm weather fungi, preferring summer at high altitudes and early fall in warmer zones. They may come up from snowmelt or summer thunderstorms. A massive population arises in the southwest states from the wet environment of the North American monsoon. They are all associated with specific trees and forest types, and some knowledge of tree species is helpful for the beginner. Lodgepole pine, spruce, and fir are host to edulis and grand edulis. Ponderosa pines are the main compadre to the barrozii, or white king bolete. In the southwest, the higher elevations of spruce fir forests are buddies to the rubriceps. Boletus edulis is the most widespread and common of the mushrooms called porcini. They have a tan to brown to gray cap color. They are generally a medium to large mushroom with light brown pores when young. As the spongy mass forms, it turns more yellow. The caps can be massive with small stems or small caps with massive stems. They are most productive in the northern half of the country, with other species taking the niche environments in the southern half of the U.S. They are gathered commercially throughout their range, but have a short shelf life when fresh and are very susceptible to fungus gnats. Boletus grandedulus is a subspecies from the interior northwest. It grows quite large and the cap is more golden or yellow than the edulus. It is more elusive than the others, unlike the southwest species that can often be found from driving around in the Arizona and Colorado mountains. Grandedulus usually fruits from soil that is saturated from snowmelt, and the timing most years is tricky. Just as the temperature is warm enough, the soil is drying out. This is quite similar to morel hunting in the Arizona high country. Grandedulus are delicious and of supreme quality, as they seldom get saturated and mushy like many boletes in the northwest. West Coast boletes often come up at the beginning of the wet season and soon get too wet. Grandedulus comes up as the environment is drying out and the flavor is concentrated and preserved. Barrowsii, or Barrowsii, is often called the White King bolete. It is mostly found in the Four Corners states, though supposedly also in Washington and British Columbia. I'm not convinced the ones in the north are exactly the same species. The mycologist that named the species is Chuck Barrows. He was quite a character and was responsible for introducing many mushrooms of the southwest monsoon to the world. He lived and taught in New Mexico, and many different mushrooms are first named by him. Boletus barrowsii can grow to huge sizes, but like all porcini are best gathered when young before the pores begin to form. Barrowsii are susceptible to invasion by the dreaded fungus gnats, and though they fruit in profusion, some years very few are bug-free. They come up under ponderosa pines in the massive forests of northern Arizona, and in the Mogollon Rim country, they grow by the thousands. I find them to be slightly more delicately flavored than the others, and are a good mushroom to introduce to picky eaters. Boletus rubriceps is another species associated with the high country of Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and Utah. Many mycologists consider this mushroom to be the closest in appearance to the porcini of Italy. They tend to have redder caps with darker patches, and the stipe, stem, tends to be wider than edulus. The name rubriceps was given by David Aurora in 2014. Mr. Aurora is a well-known and respected mycologist, and like most mycologists and all fungiphiles, is also an interesting and eccentric adventurer. Rubies often fruit in laughably massive amounts, higher in elevation than the barrows, up to timberline. I have found a few populations growing in the ponderosa forests. I have seen fruiting so numerous that the air on the mountain was saturated with their scent. This is by far the largest bolete I have found, and they are quite delicious when young. There are a few species endemic to Central California. The names for these have changed recently, and if you are foraging in the area, check out the website MycoWeb. Porcini are cooked and preserved in many ways. They dry well, are excellent canned, or preserved in oils and vinegars. They can be included in butters or pastes, often combined with truffles to stretch out the truffle flavor. The traditional dish is risotto. Risotto can be made with fresh or dried porcini, or both. Light-colored stocks with white wines, dark-colored stocks with reds. Porcini is delicious in both. I like to slice and half-dry fresh specimens and cook them in half water, half vinegar. Drain the slices and store in olive oil with chives, salt, and any herbs you use. By making the flesh acidic, the mushrooms do not grow bacteria. I have kept these up to a year in the refrigerator, and they were great. Some people freeze them whole for year-round use. Another famous or infamous mushroom, Amanita muscaria, often grows in the same areas as porcini. We call these indicator species. If one is ever out foraging and large amanitas are seen, stay alert and look in wet spots near the trail or forests you are adventuring in. Porcini often prefer what is called edge habitat. Under trees along clearings open areas adjacent to groves of trees, along roads through forests, and near trails is often where they are found. Porcini have inspired much folk art, kitchen accessories, salt and pepper shakers, cookie jars, plate designs, utensils, and more. There is great cultural significance, and these mushrooms have provided food and income for country folk during war and hard times. I hope you enjoyed and learned from this video, and good luck in the future foraging for this amazing, delicious, and exciting variety of wild food.